Hi guys, I'm Oliver, co-founder here at ConversionWise, and I'm asking you to ignore everything you've been taught up until this point about conversion rate optimization, because this is exactly how you build high converting pages in 2022. So, as I mentioned, I'm Oliver, I am co-founder here at ConversionWise, and for the last 9 years, I have been obsessed with one thing. How do we achieve high conversion rates for our clients? Now, our clients are some of the largest direct response and paid media companies on this planet. We've worked from every single vertical, every single niche, and there's always been a consistent achieving high conversion rates from day one. Now, we do that via a term that we've coined called conversion design. This isn't CRO or conversion rate optimization that you're normally used to, whereby you test and you launch and then you test and then you iterate and you test again. This is actually achieving astronomical results from the day that you launch. Now, this is all coming from our blueprint. Our blueprint is what we've built up from data, feedback, analysis and research over the last 9 years, and it's stuffed full of a list of principles that you need to implement on your pages in order to achieve those stupidly high conversion rates out of the gate. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you a snapshot, and I guarantee if you implement these principles that I teach with you, you will increase your conversion rate. But if you want the full list, you want the blueprint, you want the support of me and my team, head on over to conversionwise.com/course, where you will find more info about this groundbreaking conversion design blueprint that we have just launched. Stick around to the end of the video as well, because I'm going to give you an exclusive discount for that course. But without further ado, let's switch to my screen. Let's get into it as I share with you how to build and achieve high conversion rates in 2022. Okay guys, so before we begin, I just want to kind of confirm a few things. I do not care, and I don't want to hear excuses of anyone saying that they use a particular software, a particular platform, they're in a particular niche vertical. Everything that we teach in our conversion design blueprint is applicable across any software, platform, vertical, niche. It does not matter. These are principles that we know will uplift your conversion rate. So just take action, implement them, and I guarantee you will see results. As I mentioned, this is a snapshot. If you want the full lot, head on over to conversionwise.com/course. But just by implementing these, there will be an uplift in your conversion rates. So I'm going to use what is internally known as our template here. This is a template we've built that we train students on within our course. We also train our staff on when they join ConversionWise, and we will be launching this as a Shopify theme very, very shortly. More information on that at conversionwise.com. By the time you're watching this, this may have already been released. However, this is the perfect template to walk you through. Now, this is a product page template for a store. However, as I said, it doesn't matter if you're doing lead gen, it doesn't matter what niche you're in, what you're selling, a software service. Don't switch off this video, because everything I teach will be applicable to you. I'm just using this as this is the probably the most common request we get to ask help on e-commerce and product pages, okay? But all of these tips are applicable to every single niche vertical, I promise you. So don't deteriorate away from this. These will work for you as well. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is using critical elements above the fold on your pages. Now, you may wonder A, what critical elements are, and B, what above the fold is. So I'm just going to cover those quickly for those of you who don't know. Above the fold is quite simply what loads when someone visits your website without scrolling down. So it's what loads in that window above the fold. The fold is when you scroll. What just loads there in plain sight for them to see. Okay, and the critical elements I'm about to cover, and we have 5 here at ConversionWise that we think are more important than any others. And I'm going to start with this. So this is a value proposition or emotive headline. Now, again, obviously I'm teaching you here on a template, so we use a lot of lorem ipsum. It's not correct copyright, so I will be kind of further educating you on what sort of copy to use as I go through these steps, but I want to give you a clear kind of view of what you should be doing. So this is your headline, your value proposition, and it's never been more important to get that value proposition across to your consumer very, very quickly. You have around about 3 seconds to entice someone with your value prop before they actually exit or leave the page or are uninterested. That's from data. Okay, so within 3 seconds, you need to tell people exactly what this product is and how it's going to benefit them. And that second part of that statement has never been more important. How does this product, software, service, whatever it is, benefit the consumer? Not the feature, okay? Features tell, benefits sell. We need to stamp out the benefit for that consumer. So this is really important, that value proposition above the fold. So make sure you look at your headline now and make sure it's benefit driven, okay? So if, for example, this was a weight loss product, again, you have to be careful with compliance. I'm not telling you to use this, but you would use something like touching on those emotive strings. So easily lose weight in a matter of weeks. Okay, that's the benefit from the consumer. Instead of using the kind of headline on a product page, which we see a lot of people do for the product name, and it's just like weight loss 2000, that's not enticing me in. Utilize that real estate and that value proposition, and that headline for a very clear value proposition. So that's point number 1. Make sure that value proposition is really, really clear. Point number 2 is social proof. Now we'll touch on this a bit further along in this guide, but social proof has never been more important. And that just basically means socially showing that someone has utilized your product and they are willing to socially back it up via a review, a testimonial, a video, it doesn't matter. Now there's not much real estate above the fold on a landing page, so there's lots we've got to cram in, but we can quite easily do that with something like this. So again, if you're looking at your product page or your lead generation page and you don't have this kind of star rating and a line of text above the fold, then that's great because you can implement it and you will see an increase in conversion rates. So make sure you have these 5 stars and then use an emotive title beside this. Again, this is kind of a dummy because this is our template, but let's refer back to that weight loss. I would change this text to say something like rated, and by the way, 4.9 or 4.8 out of 5 converts better than 5 out of 5. So I would say something like rated 4.8 stars out of 5 by hundreds of happy customers. Something that's a little bit more emotive and really tugs on that heartstring, okay? So social proof is key. How else do we use social proof above the fold? Well, we can also include a testimonial like this. Okay, so any of your landing page builders, any of your softwares will allow you to implement a testimonial above the fold. And there's some really important elements about a social proof and a testimonial that you need to include, which I'll touch on a little bit later in this video. So that's number 2, is instilling social proof. Number 3 is instilling trust. So what can we do as soon as the consumer lands on our landing page to give them an element of trust about our software or service or product? Okay, and we do that in various different ways. So on this landing page, all of these, we call them trust seals or trust statements, instill trust to the consumer that we're a real brand. Okay, so we're telling them that we have 24/7 support. We're loved by thousands. We have a 90-day money-back guarantee, and we have free worldwide shipping. These are all things that say we're a real company, we stick to what we're doing, and people should therefore trust us. Now, a lot of people get this wrong. They will have these elements way down the page where, let's be honest, no people really even scroll. So jump them straight up above the fold. Use icons because icons are recognizable. They're a lot more effective than plain text. And have this bar either here or put it here on your landing page. So anything that instills trust. What else instills trust? Well, if you are doing physical products or you're doing e-com, then these trust badges are huge. So payment seals. By the way, these are available for free inside our course. We have a whole bonus of digital assets that you can just take and implement on your pages. But things like payment seals underneath your buy buttons, and we'll touch on CTAs later in the video, really instill trust to your consumer. So why is that? Because as a consumer visiting your page, I entrust in companies like PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, American Express. I've already used them, I see them in the day-to-day, and what happens intrinsically in my mind, subconsciously, is I see those logos on your page, I therefore trust that they're working with you, and I trust you more. So what can we do to instill trust? Things like SSL security seals are really, really good, especially on lead generation. If you're doing lead gen and you don't have like a secure seal on your form and a statement below that says your data is 100% secure, then you are leaving money on the table. So these tiny little things that you can implement very easily will really, really increase your conversion rates. Another thing that we can squeeze in above the fold is this section here. So it's as featured in. So if you've been featured by publications, articles, anything again that instills trust in your consumer, make sure you put those logos there, because these things will really, really help boost your reputation, that trust, and again, increase your conversion rates, because people are more than likely to now buy for you or use your service. So number 3 is trust. Number 4, really important, is image and product images. So again, this is a typical kind of layout of a theme or a standard product page for your e-com, but again, this leans into lead gen. On the lead gen side, I would lean more into those pain points. For example, if you're kind of doing insurance or funeral cover or life insurance, really on your images lean into the authenticity of family, of people hurting. If it's life insurance, you want to show a family that are all together, you know, cuddling, because that really touches on that pain point and that emotive heartstring pull for the consumer. When it comes to e-com, your product images is really, really important. Your standard image here should be a high quality picture of your product, but then people don't utilize these enough. You know, if you have scrolling images above the fold on your e-com product or your product pages, make sure you put some lifestyle shots in there. The more authentic, the better. So make sure you get people who are using the product, you know, real life people, not models in studios. You don't need to spend a fortune on these sort of pictures. Get people just using your product and show them above the fold, and people are really, really going to lean into that. The more you can make them trust you and also think that, hey, that person's just like me and they bought this product, I'm gonna now buy this product as well. Okay, and last but not least, and we'll touch on this a bit further in the video, but making sure you have that strong call to action above the fold is crucial. If you don't have a call to action above the fold on your pages, you are quite simply leaving money on the table. So get that call to action there, and we'll talk about this a little bit further. Okay, so that's point number 1, making sure you have these 5 critical elements above the fold on your page. Moving over to point number 2, and we're going to talk about the AIDA principle. So, the AIDA principle, what does AIDA stand for first and foremost? It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. And essentially, it is the way that your page should take someone through a user journey as they scroll down the page. Now, I use this example, but it can be broken down even simpler, and I'm going to show you on this video. But imagine you have an A4 piece of paper, break it into 4 equal sections, put A, I, D, A, and that's how people should go through your page as they scroll down the page. Okay, you should have an attention section, you should have a interest section, a desire section, and an action section. And I'll show you exactly what should be included in the sections right now. So let's say this is our attention section. It's the above the fold. Okay, it's the above the fold. There's my A. Okay, and how do we get people's attention above the fold? Well, that is what we covered in point 1, using those critical elements. But all we're trying to do in this section of the AIDA principle is get people's attention, okay? We want to get their attention, we want to suck them into our product or service, and then we want to get them scrolling further if they haven't already clicked that call to action. So how do we get people, just take this out, how do we get people scrolling further? Well, we do that in section number 2. So section number 2, again, these don't have to be equal sections, okay? They don't have to be all the same size, but section number 2 is I for interest. This is exactly where we want to pique people's interest. We want to get them interested in our product or service, and we do that via benefit-driven statements, and then we can touch on features lower down. So we like to do that with 3 sections, essentially. Section number 1 here is piquing my interest, showing me exactly how I can get the end result of your product efficiently and quickly. It's all about that that efficiency and convenience. Okay, so we normally do that, just to get rid of this, we normally do that via a 1, 2, 3 step section. So we say, step number 1, you can easily order this product now. Okay, step number 2, we will deliver it. Maybe it's next day, maybe it's a week, it doesn't matter. Just stipulate exactly how long that delivery is going to take, and then always back it up with statements like insured shipping, secure, etc. And then step number 3 is, how am I going to benefit from your service or your product? So again, if this was a weight loss page, it would be step number 1 is order the product today, conveniently on our site. 2, we'll ship it immediately and it'll be with you within 24 hours via secure, insured delivery. And step number 3, see results within 2 weeks, be happier, lose weight and be the envy of all your friends. Okay, so this is all about how can I conveniently order this today and how can I benefit from it. Then below that, we can then go into benefit-driven and feature-driven statements. So it doesn't have to be done like this. This is just an example of how we've kind of done it on our pages. But in that I section, you really want to lead with the benefits. So again, benefits, sell, features, tell. So I challenge you to look at your pages and change your statements and your copy into benefit-driven ones rather than feature ones, okay? Then we can go into features about your product, but you just want to pique people's interest in this section. Then we scroll down to this section, which is D for desire. So in this section, we talk more about social proof. So it's how do we make people desire our product? And that's typically done via things like this, okay? Reviews. Now, I want to touch quickly on reviews. We touched about social proof above the fold, but there's some really important elements on reviews, okay? With your reviews, you need these critical things. You need this, a real picture of a real person. The more authentic, the better. Forget model shots. Influence stuff is fine, but I would rather have an authentic picture of someone using your product or service. You need these stars. If you don't have stars on your reviews, again, you're leaving money on the table. People instantly attract to stars. Okay, you need a call out here of the headline, so a too long didn't read effectively. You need the quote itself, and then you need a real person and a real name, so people think these are legit. They should be legit. Okay, so that's really important with desire and social proof, those elements. So we then do this section here, desire, and then last but not least, an action section. So A for action. My A's aren't that great, are they? So this section we want to basically take someone as quickly as possible into performing that action, whether it's a form fill, whether it's a click now, it doesn't matter. This is where your action needs to happen, because I relate this to something like someone watching an entire film and then you not giving them the ending. And so many people leave so much money on the table by not having an action section at the bottom of their pages just because they can't be bothered, or the theme they use is shitty and it doesn't provide one. Make sure you have a button at the very least at the bottom of your page, because if people scroll that far, they're really interested and they want action. So give them the clearest possible way to take action right here, down here. So that's the AIDA principle, and that's the next point that I wanted to cover as far as our principles. But let's get into another one and let's talk about it. We said it before in this video. Let's talk about everything CTA, or call to action. Okay, so when it comes to your call to actions, I'm gonna spend a little time on this. There's a few things that are really important and a few things that people get very, very wrong. First and foremost, let's talk about colors. What colors converts best? Well, you need to test these things, but we typically find that this green or Amazon orange or red convert very, very well. It's worth split testing those things. But the one important thing to mention about color is if your brand color, for example, is a green like this, and everything like your logo and everything else on your page is green, do not have a green button. It's not rocket science, guys. All of these principles aren't rocket science. You need to make that call to action stand out. So we see this, people getting this wrong so many times, and we just say to them, change your call to action color, and they'll instantly see an uplift in conversion rates. So make sure that button stands out. Again, if you want to know what converts best, typically green or orange or red do really, really well, but you need to choose the opposite, basically, of your brand color, okay? When it comes to the actual content on the button, most people have add to cart or buy now. On form fields, they have like contact us. They're boring. People don't like it. Use something more emotive, more enticing. Get mine now. Rush my order. grab mine now, okay? These kind of words, if it's a course, get instant access now. That kind of instant reaction converts so much better than just like add to cart. It's boring, people don't listen to it, okay? So use a emotive and persuasive call to action text. Always include an emoji. We've been preaching this now for probably about 4 or 5 years. We were the first company to do it. Now everyone's doing it and it works. Don't ask me why, but emojis convert very, very well on buttons. This emoji from our data is outperforms every other emoji we've ever used all the time. You might want to test on lead gen something like if, for example, you're asking for a calendar booking, you might want to test a calendar. Or, we have tried things like if you're doing a limited trial, use a clock like rush my order or rush my trial. But this is super important. And then lastly, on call to actions, we always talk about buffers. So I call them padders or buffers, but it means that when you have your button, that isn't the only thing call to action. Okay, make sure you have things that pad your call to action up, which will increase your conversion rates. And we've touched on them, things like trust and things like reviews. So you'll notice whenever we have a call to action, we always have social proof and trust proof next to it. Okay, so whenever you have a call to action button, make sure you're padding it or you're stuffing it or whatever you want to call it, I don't care, with trust and social proof as well. Okay, so that should cover everything call to actions. Now, my next point is going to be about FAQs or frequently asked questions. Now, FAQs are often forgotten about. Not everyone does it. We look at so many pages here at ConversionWise. We deal with between 50 and 100 projects per month, and so many people, more people forget FAQs than have them, and they are really, really important. Where do you place them? Well, you place them between the desire and the action step in that AIDA principle that we've already covered. And these are super important, okay? What you want to envision your FAQs doing are basically being almost like a deterrent from people navigating away from your page. Okay, they want to answer every possible question that someone might have before buying your product. Typically speaking, when people have got to this stage of your page, they're very, very interested in what you do. And they now want to know, they probably have a couple of questions in their head subconsciously that they're thinking about before they click that button. So we want to give them the answers right here. So what I challenge everyone to do, whether it's a service or a software or product that you own, is ask some of your customers or survey some of your customers or survey your friends and family and ask them the top 10 most questions that they want to know about your product. Now, with physical products and e-com, this is typically around delivery times, refunds, return policy, etc. But then also go into specific questions about the actual product you're selling. And you want to put them very, very clearly here, and you want to answer them in layman's terms. Keep it simple, stupid, okay? So really don't forget these. Make sure you add a call to an FAQ section, answer those questions, and you will see an uplift in conversions. And for the last principle I'm going to cover on this video, we are going to talk all about scarcity. Now, scarcity is one of many pain points or kind of emotive actions that we talk about and cover in our course and of our principles, but it's a super important one. So it's gone are the days of kind of flashy banners and timers and all that stuff that are no longer compliant and frankly no one no longer believes in. We need to be introduce scarcity in a subtle but effective way. And how do we do that? I'm going to point out a few things on this page. So most importantly, a timer like this is really crucial. So whether it's, again, lead gen, software, or a physical product, having something that says that it's available now with like a green icon and then only X amount left is a really clever way of introducing scarcity. So as I mentioned, having that available now icon and just a small icon that says it's in stock is really good for scarcity because people think it's in stock, but it might not be for longer. Then having that kind of almost that left in stock or that sporadic countdown timer increases people's scarcity to think, there's only a few left. Again, on the lead gen side, you could position this or flip this to say, we only have capacity to deal with X amount more clients. Okay, that works really well. This form of scarcity works really well on e-com as well. So having something that says like X amount of people are viewing this right now. And you can do that up here in text. It doesn't have to be like an official app or anything. Like the more apps you have, the less your page is going to convert. And when this theme's out, you can utilize our theme to do that. But having some form of scarcity in your page is really, really going to increase those conversion rates. And I suggest you do that, like I say. Available now or in stock now icons are massive. You can just find images on Google and just implement them on your pages. And then having that kind of emotive thing where it's like only 13 left in stock, or we only have the capacity to work with 13 more people. Then touching on scarcity as far as like your headline here. So a promotion. So even if you don't have a sale, just saying that it's the winter sale ends soon. And then when it comes to spring, the spring sale ends soon, the summer sale, just touching on those kind of pain points and making people fear that they're gonna miss out on this item. So that concludes today's principles on how you can skyrocket those landing pages in 2022. Make sure you hit subscribe because we drop plenty of videos on this channel. Don't miss out. And as I promised at the beginning of this video, that was just a small snapshot and snippet of the principles that are jam stuffed into our conversion design blueprint that you can find at ConversionWise.com/course. The course will take you through everything from design to development to testing to optimization. It will cover checkouts, carts, upsells, order bumps, bundling, scarcity, subscriptions, lead generation, e-com, advertorials, pre-sales, everything you need in order to achieve astronomical results on your conversion rates. You'll also get the additional bonuses if you sign up today. You'll have direct access in our private community to myself and our team. We will support you along the way. There's oodles of bonuses involved. There's also an exclusive discount for you for watching this entire video. If you go to the course today and on the checkout you input the discount code 2022, that's numerical, so 2022, we will give you 20% off that course. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access to the information, to the support, and everything else you need to skyrocket your campaigns. I cannot wait to see you. Hopefully you're our next student inside the training, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you guys.